In this video, we're going to be doing a navigation across a map. So you're going to be given an azimuth and you're going to be given a ground distance, and you have to figure out what is the next feature on that map. So if we look down here on our paper and our map here, I have some information as to my azimuth and my distance. So I'm going to start at Barrel Peak. So on my map of 82J07, I am going to find Barrel Peak. So Barrel Peak is right here on my map, and I know that I'm going to start there, and my azimuth is going to be based off my grid. The reason that it's off my grid is because of the fact it's easier to measure. Now, if I told you that it was a true azimuth, you would have to apply magnetic declinations and everything else. That we'll be getting to that later in this module. But we're going to start with Barrel Peak. So you're going to look for the little triangle that is on the map, and you may not be able to see that on this video, but there is a little tiny triangle there. So when you go onto your map, use that. You're going to also use a 360 protractor. You can do it with this one if you have it. I'm going to do it with the 360 because it's faster and easier to do. You also need a ruler to do this. So the first thing we need to do on our map is to figure out what is the map distance. So this one says it's 1,800 meters. So I'm going to do the quick math on that, and that means that I'm going to take 1,800, I'm going to put it into centimeters, which is 180,000, and I'm going to divide that by 50,000. And I get 3.6. So I know that my map distance is 3.6 centimeters. So now I'm going to measure that, and I have to go 272. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my protractor like this, and with a 360 protractor you put where the little line is, pointing at the center. And then when you're using the protractor, you're going to find the grid on your map. And this particular grid has blue lines. So I'm going to line this up as best I can with that blue line along there. So if you look really close on my protractor, you can see the blue line, and it's equal spacing between this point and there, and then this point and the blue line. So now I'm going to find 272, and I'm going to find that 272 is over here. So I'm going to mark that off on my map. I'm going to make a little tick on my map, and then I can move my ruler, or move my protractor, and then I got to get my ruler out. And it says 3.6 centimeters. So I'm going to put this on Barrel Peak here, and I'm going to line it up with my little tick measurement, like so. And I measure 3.6 centimeters, which brings me to here. So now I'm at Mount Cornwall. So using that, now I can go to the next thing. So it says my azimuth is 239. So I take this, measure it again, trying to line it up with the same here. So I can just say my feature is Mount Cornwall. Cornwell, sorry, I keep putting it in A. I'm going to use my protractor, 239. So I measured to 239, which, using this particular ruler, I have to go with everything in the center here. So I measured to 240, and then I can put my tick mark there. I need to figure out what my distance is there, so I've got my 220,000, and then I divide that by 50,000, and I get 4.4 centimeters. So I take my ruler, measure from Mount Cornwall, I line it up with this, my little tick mark down here, and I go to 4.4 centimeters, and I am there, which is right at the Courcelette Peak. Then, so I'm at Courcelette Peak. Oops. So there's my next feature. Then I get to do 8 degrees. So take my protractor, line it up again, and I find 8 degrees, which is up here. There's 8. And then 4,500 meters, which is a little bit longer than what it was, so 45 divided by 50 gives me 9. So measure from there along this line, and I go to exactly 9. Which brings me to here, which is my Mount Bolton. So Mount Bolton. And last but not least, I now get to go 39. So I'm going to set this one up again, set my 0 just this way. From this point, line it up with that blue line, and I find out where 39 degrees is on my map. It's right there. And then I got to do the math. Oops, I forgot to say 9 centimeters here. I go 16, 35, 00, 00. I think I have an extra 0 in there. This should be 32.7 centimeters. So this is longer than my ruler. So now I got to get creative on how I'm going to use that, but that's okay. Let's start with the protractor, because I want you guys to get practice with that. Put it on my last point, measure the 0 with the line here, because I'm looking at the azimuth. I find 39 degrees, which I've already found up here. And then I've got to find my distance. So I'm going to follow this. What I suggest doing is putting a line at the end so that you can use your ruler again. And then I measure the 30 centimeters all the way up to the end here. And then I can add on the 2.7. Which threw me off a little bit up here. So the closest feature in this, because this is not exact science, is Mount Head. So my closest feature is Mount Head. Now, if you were actually doing this as like out in the field, you would, if you had to move from Mount Head, you would actually move to Mount Head to do that measurement from there. So if you were off a little bit, it might be because your ruler wasn't calibrated correctly, the graduations are a little bit off. When you go a really far distance like that, that's what ends up happening, is you end up off a little bit. So that is navigating a map with a protractor and a ruler. See you in the next